Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, gonna be a TVP here on Ascension between Hidel and Bonyth. This replay was sent to me by Creative, a name you might recognize if you watch my Sunday streams. He sends me good replays that are super exciting and has an element of something unique. So, I trust him that this is going to be a fairly epic game, or maybe an epic game here on Ascension. Top side, we got ourselves a blue Protoss player. It is Bonyth. And in the bottom left, it's a red Terran. His name is hidel. So Hidel's a Korean player. Bonyth is quite possibly the best foreigner player in the world right now for StarCraft Brood War. That is what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. It is, I mean, it's a title that can be swapped from player to player over time, depending on how certain tournaments go. And right now, apparently, Bonyth is our guy, playing in the Bombastic StarCraft League quite consistently. That is, I guess, the username he used for BSL 14, which is fairly recent. I believe it was sometime late last year that came out. So, very good. We are here on Ascension. I've cast games on this map before, but it's not a very common map. So, 3-player. This is the third location for the spawn. You got yourselves a little bit of an easier wall-off if you want to wall off your natural with these eggs, but there's no Zerg here, so basically you're not going to do that, right? So, is this going to be a command center first? No. Okay, so barracks first here. Gateway coming up. Man, command center first against a Protoss is super ultra risky. That would be incredible from him. Yeah, it looks like both players are at least going for a barracks gateway thing. Might see a cyber core, might see a factory before expand for both of these players. And we'll keep an eye on that, because again, if Dragoons show up and you don't have factory tech, you die, generally. And if Vultures and Tanks show up and you don't have cyber tech, you're also going to die. So hit that like button if you're excited for this PvT. Should be a good one. I'll give it an epic tag if it deserves it. You know how this works. And I hope that you trust my epic tags, because I don't just give them out willy-nilly. I'm not just like, oh, this game was 35 minutes long. It's obviously an epic game. Nah. It's got to have some element of epicness in it, right? Do we get Valkyrie play? Maybe we get some crazy battlecruiser stuff. Maybe it comes down to the wire, and there's one building left for each player, and then one of them goes down, and that's how you win. Right? Crazy stuff like that. Maybe it's a non-stop back and forth. It's in complete disarray. The game, you don't know who's going to win until the very, very last second. That gets you the epic tag. So Probe Scout's in, sees there's not an expansion coming up quite yet, but oh, look at this. No gas. 1 Rax into command center. So yeah, at this point you need a bunker, which is cool. I mean, bunkers are pretty cheap, and the Dragoons are on the way, and we're going to work on... It's time. Is it time to get the upgrade? Singularity charge. Is it on the way, or are we actually going to go for a Nexus first? I mean, not first, but Nexus before Singularity Charge. It sure seems like it. He's got a bunch of gas here, too. Bonyth does. I have cast different Bonyth games on the channel before, but it's been a long time. I think one of them... Wow, excuse me. One of them did make it into... I want to say it's the Ghost of Gamers replay pack, which is pretty friggin' awesome. So, again, good players. Hidel, I don't know who he is. He is obviously a Korean. He's not Flash, if that's who you're wondering. APM is looking pretty good, though. About 370 there. Opening spam here from Hidel. There is your bunker. And yeah, just try to get some shots off on this Dragoon. But doesn't take any hull damage there, so well controlled, obviously, by Bonyth. Bunkers up. And the factory's on the way, and Singularity Charge is now coming in. So, again, sometimes Protoss players will rush for the Singularity Charge upgrade, and they can start hitting this thing from a distance the bunker can't fire back from earlier, but it looks like he just wants to be more economic than super aggressive here. So he's going to go for the Nexus, and now he's working on Singularity Charge, and it's going to be a little bit later. And I mean, honestly, he doesn't even have, right? He doesn't even have a Dragoon on that side of the map, does he? Wait, hold up. Where did that Dragoon go? He didn't, like, try a run by or something. Oh, here he is. Totally missed him. He wants to kill this SCV. It's 6 hits. And 2 more? Yeah, like, that last hit is so frustrating because it brings him down to 5 HP. And you're like, oh, why aren't you dead? And the answer is because the way damage works from a Dragoon to an SCV. Working on robotics facility. Probably, at this point, just going to try to make sure we don't die to spider mines, which we don't know if that's what it is yet, because the machine shop is not done yet on this first fac. But also, it could be for shuttles. We could go for some Reaver Harass style stuff. That's always very good against Terran. They hate it a lot, and it can just really cause problems. You can also use the shuttle to drop in Dark Templar, if that's what tech you happen to be going for, too. Or, I guess, Zealots. Or, I mean, heck, shuttles are good at dropping anything. That's what they do. So, what they do? Alright, what's next? Armory coming up for them upgrades. Cool, cool. You're going to want the upgrades for the mechy stuff on the other side. Ah, there's a robotic support bay. All right. So not going for the observatory first. It's a robotic support bay, which indicates a bit of a two-base Reaver drop style opening here out of a Bonyth. And it is going to be Siege Tank. Okay, so that's good. Siege Tank really helps against Reavers. If you can siege your tanks, they can fire on the Reavers from much further than the Reavers can fire on them, and they hit really hard. And then the Reavers can die. If you're not extremely careful with where you unload those things, they will get evaporated and vaporized upon unload before they can even fire a single Scarab. And use. We're working on a Reaver. Nice. Working on Observatory now. I mean, that's a pretty fast build, so getting it after the robotic support bay is not a terrible idea. SCV checking around to see what's what. And, oh, actually, we're going to go for... Oh, no. I was going to say, you're going to go for a third. Don't have the resources for that, but that'd be amazing. Really gutsy stuff. And as we always say, the Protoss, in a situation where they're pretty evenly matched against... There it is. Their Terran opponent, they want to get more bases faster. 2 and then 3. Bam. 3 times 2 is 6. Quick maths on stream. Look how cool I am. But yeah, you want to out-expand your Terran player, because eventually, not at this stage of the game necessarily, but eventually there's going to be a million tanks out, and Goliaths and Spider Mines and Vultures, and you're just not going to get cost-efficient engagements off against your opponent all that much. So you need to have more bases than them to replace your army. You just gotta zerg them, is how this works. And the best Protoss will get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases, even sometimes before the Terran is on their third. I mean, that's pretty intense, getting 8 before the Terran's on their third, but 4, 5, 6, definitely reasonable. So here comes, you know, the attempted Zealot Reaver stuff, but there's already Goliaths out. They don't have Charon boost yet. And put... Oh my gosh, the shuttle's gonna die! No! He lost the shuttle! No! He got one hit off on a Goliath, didn't even kill it, and then got destroyed. Played with fire, man. Once you saw there were Goliaths out and they were in this location, I'm not even sure why you'd keep trying that. Come on, Bonyth. You're smarter than this. I guess maybe he feels like he has to take some risks to win this match. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in his head. Engineering May coming in, recognizing, okay, missile turrets are good against drops. They're also really good against DTs if they happen to wander in. Also pretty good against things like, I don't know, carriers, if that's where we're going. A Stargate on the way. More likely Arbiters at this stage of the game, although a 3-base carrier transition at this stage is not undoable. We have seen it attempted from time to time. And look, there's your third base for the Terran. And the third base of the Protoss is up, yeah, but the Terran is not that far behind. Got a bunch of siege tanks out. No upgrades on those dudes yet, but working on +1 attack for the mech. Any upgrades coming in for the gateway units? And the answer is no. Definitely not. And as I always say in a PvT, jump on them tanks. Whittle that tank count down early. Kill tanks when there are 8 of them, before there are 30 of them, and you can't kill any of them, because if you get within 400 yards of anything, you die. So I'm going to try to harass here a little bit. Siege tank on the high ground. My gosh, firing. Ow! Oh yeah, that is some pretty nice tank positioning. It covers most of this. I'm going to sack a supply depot here, which is a little bit frustrating. And not a supply block for Hidel, but he's fine. Totally and utterly and completely fine. So yeah, thanks to Creative for sending me this replay. It's been pretty good so far. I'd say these players are definitely playing hard and playing fast, and that is a fleet beacon, man. Remember what I said about 3-base Protossing with the fleet beacon and the carriers and the shenanigans? That's what I'm talking about here. So extra Stargate. Obviously going to have some Arbiters, because you want to make some Arbiters in this situation, but additionally carrier production has begun at gosh darn 9 minutes. So Heidel's going to go for them Goliaths. Siege tanks are going to be a little bit less useful as the game goes on. It really depends on how many carriers we make. There's this hybrid strat where you make, 6 to 8 carriers, but also most of your army is Zealots and Dragoons and High Templar and Reavers and cool stuff like that. And we are getting leg enhancements, right? We're getting upgrades, ground weapons. So I don't feel like this is going to be a 100% carrier play. And there'd be more Stargates if that were the case, instead of these more gateways that he just warped in. So it is kind of hybrid-y, yeah? It's going to be both, I think, is what we're looking at here. So we're going to go for more Reaver stuff, high ground Reaver stuff. And that is a dead SCV, if this actually fires, which it doesn't. Cool. Man, that is... Reavers are so frustrating. Alright, so Observer gets sniped. Ah! Trying to focus down the... They get the shuttle! Nice, but a lot of Goliaths die there, too. It's just now that Reaver can't... Ow, that's what I'm talking about. Dead. Oh, got a siege tank, though. That's nice. So one siege tank dies. Again, as many tanks as you can kill early, gonna be good for you. Long term. Fourth base warping in from Bonyth. Carriers take forever to build. If you've ever sat there and watched the Stargate as it's building a carrier, you know it takes approximately 400 years. Carrier capacity upgrade is coming in here too. Love to see a good carrier capacity upgrade. I mean, it's just factories. Aren't we surprised by any of this? No. The Sim City is pretty good, I think, for the hidel. And there's little clumps of production facilities in the main base here too. From Bonyth. Seems to be his strategy for you. So it's 138 to 118 supply. Protoss is up, but again, getting a range of these siege tanks with +1 and almost +2 is going to be very difficult. And I wonder if Heidel's going to go for a fourth base here, or he's going to accidentally run into this, maybe. I mean, high ground siege tanks, that is just not anything you ever want to engage with at all. So Bonyth is like, nope, I'm out. Peace. Wait, maybe this guy's going to wander into range. Be careful. Pathing of the Dragoon, you're stupid sometimes. I feel like Bonyth probably will expand here next. Logically, it's a good place to get your fifth. This engineering bay can't see that, right? Oh, it can. It knows there's a pylon here at least. That's cool. Man, the range of a vision range of a floating engineering bay is way more than I thought. Observer here, observer here. Love the observer placement from Bonyth for sure. Working on air weapons upgrades. Ground weapons upgrade is finishing up here still. Zeros across the board for the Dragoons and Zealots, but we're very close to having +1 attack, which is a momentous occasion. And production tab says more Vultures and 1 Goliath, so he's not really expecting the carriers, which is fair because he knows how big this army is. This ground army for Bonyth is, so he needs to mix in enough anti-air to deal with the carriers, but also not make so much that he can't handle the Zealots, right? So the carriers have arrived. And, you know, I assume those missile turrets might have been there just to deal with drops, but also pretty good at chasing away smaller numbers of carriers, like 2. You know, just for example, spider mines, taking out a couple of those Zealots, whittling down the Zealot count means if it's just Dragoons, you're going to have a bad time here. And bam, big time engagement coming in. Topside, I don't know it's going to work, but again, if you're whittling down siege tanks, even if you don't win this engagement, it's a better thing for you. So tank down, Zealots dying all over the place, and yes, you did have to flee. You gotta get the heck out of there. But the tank count, you lost, what, 5, 6, 7 tanks there. And now we only have, like, 7. So that's thumbs up. Thumbs up. But look who is taking a fourth base already is hidel. Oh, snap, Bonyth. Bonyth, you're in a tough way here. I don't know what you were attacking there exactly, but now you're attacking spider mines. Is he doing the stop-hold trick? I think he's doing the stop-hold trick. Which, if you don't know, that was discovered sometime last year. I mean, it's amazing that things are still being discovered in Brood War, but basically, instead of just A-moving your carriers or individually targeting a single thing down, which is overkill, right? If you have 12 carriers and you tell them to attack a single Goliath, they'll all attack the Goliath, and it's like 4,000 hit points of overkill that is useless and wasted because the Goliath died on, like, the 6th hit, and you threw 47 hits at him, yeah? So what you can do is you spam stop and hold, so SH, SH, SH to your carriers, then they'll individually target different things. They'll all target different things, and the damage output is greatly increased, and I think that's what Bonyth was doing there. Or he's trying to make it work anyway. I'm not sure that it's super easy to pull off, but he's, that was an attempt regardless. But yeah, look at this. Zealots, sure. High Templar, sure. And some carriers, yeah. We're not making 8 carriers at a time. This is 2. This is dos. Dos carritos at a time. And, my gosh, there is still not a 5th base from Bonyth. You can't be on even base count here. You're going to have a bad time. So he is individually attacking... Oh, there you go. Missile turrets 1 at a time there, which, again, overkill. But when you have this many carriers, it's less of a problem. It's more when you have, like, 12, and they're all attacking the same missile turret. And then it's like, okay, that's a lot of wasted attacks there. But you try to come up this ramp. I mean, I guess. Once again, if you're a Goliath, you want desperately to be attacking the body of the carrier, which means Bonyth is going to do a good job keeping the carrier body out of range of the Goliath as much as possible while still attacking it, which is tricky stuff. And, I mean, allowing Dragoons to cover at the same time is excellent. I mean, if you have to end up taking down interceptors, sure, it's better than nothing. Like, you'd rather fire on interceptors than fire on zero things, right? And good job, you know, using this high ground advantage where the Goliaths can't get direct hits on these carriers at all. I don't think any of them taken any damage whatsoever. Maybe a couple hits, but the larger problem is that the Terran is happily on 4 bases. And Bonyth is also on 4 bases, if my maths are correct, which I've been correct thus far. If it's numbers within 10, I can do the math. So, and the counting sometimes. We get higher than that. It's where the bad things roam. So it's like, all right, look. I can't attack your carrier directly, but if I force you to engage with my carriers, then hey, that's better, right? Or I force you to engage with your carriers onto my stuff here. Tank count lower and lower here. It is largely Goliath, but you know, Goliaths trade fairly well against Zealots. And honestly, not that bad against Dragoons either. It's suddenly 177 to 142 supply. And you had to pull back because you don't really have enough to deal with this number of 3-2 Goliaths. The upgrades are insanely good. Gonna come down and try to save this 4th base. Can you do it, though? Is saving the 4th base a possibility? Zealots are getting some work done. Reaver shots coming off here, too. Maybe there aren't enough Goliaths to do this, but look at them. Stutter stepping forward to kill a Reaver, losing 2 Goliaths in the process. That's a good trade. 1 Reaver down for 2 Goliaths is fair play. And this 4th base, oh no, Bonyth. Bonyth, you're in all of the trouble right now. My friend, mi amigo. You can't be on 3 bases versus a 4-basing Terran. Hidel is just like, yeah, that's right. There you go. 4th base down. I'm up 182 to 163 supply. The carriers are not a problem. I've got better upgrades than they do. I think if we can get one of these that has... It's not actively building interceptors right now, but they're all actively building interceptors, which is one of my annoying things about the replay interface, is that it shows what's building instead of what the upgrades are. So yeah, +2 attack, no armor. All right, engaging here again. Tanks at the back. Good Storm. Great Storm, actually. Wondrous, and truly another good one there, too. And suddenly, oh, that was a good engagement for sure. Storm is just, it's game-changing, man. It's always game-changing in every matchup. Dude, he has this space coming up here, too. Got a lot of turrets to assist with these interceptors as much as you can. More siege tanks defending. Coming down this ramp is not something you want to try to do. But actually getting some hits off on one of these carriers is becoming a little bit too close in range. Turrets from the main base are firing all the way over here, but this is, oh no, and look what we found. We found your 4th base replacement, or perhaps your 5th base, whatever this is. This random turret, 2-turret placement here is interesting. Sure, I guess. But it's 176 to 166 supply right now. Hidel's looking good. He's looking strong. And he's expanding again. Oh, no. He's taking that 3rd spawn location we talked about earlier. Another engagement coming up from the south. I mean, this is... So +3 attack and no armor upgrades or shield upgrades for the carriers either. Yeah, overextending a little bit, not that great of an idea, but if you can push up to this Nexus and kill it, I think that's going to be it for Bonyth. I mean, he is replacing his 4th base naked. Like, 2 Goliaths wander over this way and completely shut it down. I'm not sure that's something that Hidel is thinking about right now. Because there's a lot of stuff to be thinking about right now. Yeah, quick plug for the store, falconpaladin.store. We are working on getting a Terra the Overlord mug, so check it out. Might be there already by the time of this casting. But falconpaladin.store, that is the entire URL. Very easy to remember. EMP on the High Templar. Nice. Turn them into Archons, might as well. They're more use that way. Good Storm defense here. Carrier's heading south. Are we base racing a Terran? Is that the plan here? No, he's like, oh no, he's trying to flank around the bottom side where the Goliaths are not. Firing away. That Archon trying to hang on to. I don't know. Carriers jumping in. Oh, this is so tight. I just don't know. Goliaths are just not dying here as well. They're pulling back to where there are some reinforcements coming from the south. And there are some extra missile turrets here to kill interceptors too. 7 interceptors at a time are being produced. That's how many are dying here. Great Storm. Bonyth continuing to push to the south, but I don't know if he can do it. He can't quite keep pushing. The tank count is low, and we've talked about that a lot. Tank count low. Good for the ground units here for the Protoss. 157 to 140 supply. He manages to hold on to replace this 5th base, and the 4th base is up with 0 defense on it whatsoever. And again, I'm just not sure that hidel is thinking about that as a potential location that he needs to keep track of. But yeah, Falcon Paladin store hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, pillows. We ship anywhere on Earth, so like feel free to, no matter where you are, we can ship there, with the exception of I think like North Korea. And then you can also buy in your own currency, right? Which is also a super nice thing. Again, most of my viewers are from the United States. And I think the second most country for views is Germany, which is weird, and then Canada's 3rd. Canada was 2nd for a while. I don't know what's going on, but hello to Germany if you're watching. I appreciate the views, guys. Doing me a solid here. So 168 to 189 supply. Bonyth's macro's been crazy pants. Trying to come in with the carriers for the umpteenth time. Oh, beautiful storms, too. Just allowing the carriers to cover for those High Templar as they come in and toss storms down. There's an Archon down here. At this 3rd spawn location, he's casually got 15 kills and completely shuts that base down. So what a reversal we've seen here from Bonyth over the last couple minutes. He was down to 3 bases. His replacement 4th base was heavily under fire. And then he's able to shove it off, get rid of the Terran influence there, and actually do some counterattacking a little bit too. He hasn't killed, he killed this bottom right base. That's right. Killed the bottom right base with a single Archon, which again, something that hidel could do if he knew that base over here was alive, which he doesn't because there's nothing allowing him to see that. All right, storm it up, storm it up. Is there enough here to hold it? Tanks are at the back. Lovely positioning here from hidel. Sometimes you really don't have a choice of where your tanks are, and they're in a perfect spot. Goliaths, Goliath's doing some target firing. Oh, a carrier dies. Is that the first time a carrier's died today? Possibly it is. Really nice control from Bonyth, though, honestly. Coming on in. Oh, yeah. Tanks getting whittled down. There's 1 tank remaining down there. 163 to 151 supply. I love that hidel just grabs the command center from that bottom right spot, lifts it up, floats it about a mile north, and is like, this is my base now. This is where I live. And, oh, look who found the replacement 4th base. hidel did. Way too late. I mean, look. I guess it's not too late, because the game is still in doubt when he does this. Like, if he was losing bad, and then he found this, I'd be like, yeah, that's too late, man. A little too late. But shutting that down is actually big. And then, finishing off individual probes with cannons defending. Cool. 56 to 49 workers. Trying to push up and take down this 5th base now is hidel. I feel like heidel's a German name. Is hidel a German name? Definitely a Korean player, but, you can choose whatever your player name. You can choose, like, your player name to be whatever you want it to be. You could totally choose, like, Gretel if you were a Korean player. Nobody would ever say no. There are plenty of Korean players who have English words as their player names. Like, I don't know, Flash comes to mind, obviously. But coming up the right side, dude, you can't abandon this base. This one is not happening. Actually, the probes are transferring back in. It's kind of happening, but dude, focusing that Nexus down, I don't know if you can do it. The backside flank attack here, very strong from Bonyth. Dragoons are trying to get shots off at the same time, but well, direct hits on the carrier bodies. There's still 11 of them here, though. You can see the hits coming in. They are actually doing pretty well, but the red's starting to get bigger on a couple of these. Man, beautiful carrier control in a situation where you just don't have any dead airspace to fall back to, right? This is just wide out in the open. So the Nexus dies, it totally sucks. So Bonyth did get the 4th base sort of back. He brings the probes right back on in there. Tank count keeps getting obliterated. Production is just fantastic, though, from the Terran player, and I just think economically he's got to be in a good place here. That said, the carriers are being incredibly cost-effective, to the level of like a siege tank, sort of. 7 kills on that one, 13 kills on that one. Once again, the 4th base under attack by vultures, which I feel like you could maybe take the Nexus down if you brought a couple tanks with you next time, but, you know, tanks are a scarce resource right now. 34 probes remaining for Bonyth. I mean, this is not... Oh, no. And more dying. More dying. Bleh. 33 probes for Bonyth to 51 SCVs. Not a huge number of SCVs from hidel. Good nevertheless. Another attack coming in. Can he focus down the command center? Yes, he takes it down. Oh, and hidel doesn't have enough money to instantly replace it like you generally want to see. Honestly, I mean, where do you want to go? Right, Bonyth is cockroaching. He keeps replacing bases as soon as they die. So you can't just attack one base. You have to worry about both of them, and the carriers are just doing absolute work for Bonyth. There are some DTs coming in. One behind. Make some Dark Templar, possibly. Maybe sneak them into bases. There's so many missile turrets, though, in this situation. Because, again, your opponent is making carriers. So, obviously, nice storm dodge, though, from hidel. Observer in the mix. Can see exactly the setup here. Thinking about pushing into the 4th, but, man, Bonyth, he's got them back. The 4th and the 5th, they're back, but focusing. Okay, carrier down, dodging the storm. Good split on the Goliaths. Really not too bad there. And again, vultures only back here. They're trying to win against these dragoons by using spider mines, which, hey, works to a certain extent. More probes dying, down to 30 total probes. Ay caramba. I mean, this is a good match. Still no attempt from hidel to re-expand over down this right side. I mean, he's got vision to make sure that Bonyth isn't doing it. The 4th base gets re-established again, but we're down to 28 probes. The attacks have been incessant and problematic here today. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this match. This is a pretty darn good PvT, if you ask me. So Observer dies thanks to a scan. And now hidel is in the dark again. If we take a look at this. Man, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough carriers to do this thing. Bonyth doesn't have a ton of money to replace interceptors as he's losing them. He has 100 minerals in the bank right now. So he's going to feint north, right? And then he's going to head left and wipe out this 4th base because 2 dragoons and a couple cannons is not enough to handle 3 Goliaths. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, and the cannons are depowered anyway, so that's easy peasy. 118 to 133 supply. 4th base actually gonna die for the first time today. Actually, wait, second time today. A couple times it's been invaded, but not killed by vultures because they suck at killing nexuses. They can take the shields down because they do full damage versus shields, but otherwise, bleh. Not so good at building attacks. So High Templar here for the storms, really important. Again, hidel's been doing a great job splitting recently against those attacks. Observer sees a command center heading to the right and says, yeah, maybe I'll send another Archon down here and wipe it out. How do you feel about that? And the answer is probably poorly. I feel poorly about that. So jumping in here again, though, man, Bonyth storms up. Interceptor count super high. Not like he has a massive bank, but he seems to have enough. Oh, DT's just getting free swipes off in the mix here, too, because there are no science vessels. Obviously, turrets you're going to want to watch out for. Are you heading over? Oh, yeah. And Bonyth is going to take down this attempt at getting a 5th base, or 6th base, rather. I apologize. This is the 5th base, which is back now, obviously. Flank attack. Getting a couple extra hits off on one of these carriers. Can they finish it off? It's almost dead. It's down to like 40 HP, but no. heading north, heading left. I mean, if he could take down that 5th base, I think Hidel's got this game, but I'm not sure that he can. There's just too much ground support here. The DT's down here with 4 kills, getting massive swipes off. That's what you're absolutely into. Pulling back, maybe trying to siege up the siege tanks. How much anti-air is there? There's only missile turrets here. Repair on the command center. Keep it alive. No! Too much damage output. But look who snuck up this way. More probes are dying. Bonyth is down to 24 probes. He doesn't have any mineral income at the moment. He's got a 5th base. I guess that's a 6th base up here top right that he's trying to do. The Vultures are going to find it and try to shut it down as well as they can. Probe down. Again, as much damage on that Nexus is going to be excellent. This base is mined out. Dude, nobody has any income right now, actually. Wow, these probes are working. So yeah, Bonyth does. Hidel doesn't. Hidel's long distance mining, and he's got 1 mineral patch down here at his 5th or his 4th. Dude, this is great. This is a good one. Creative was not wrong. And usually people don't take the time to email me or contact me over Discord and be like, hey, cast this replay, and the replay sucks. Uh-oh. Bunch of free High Templar snipes, though. Bonyth not paying a ton of attention there. And, oh, man. This Nexus dying totally sucks. But the probes are just going to go ahead, emergency transfer up to this top right base that is brand new as the 5th Nexus does fall. 6th Nexus, the only source of income for Hidel, or for Bonyth here. Hidel is not rebuilding his command center. He should float his CC from somewhere else. He's been doing that is the thing. He doesn't have a lot of command centers, but he can send this one up for that direct purpose. Bonyth, that's the thing about carriers. If it turns into a low econ match where neither player has a ton of income, carriers are a detriment to your ability to win because replacing interceptors becomes entirely difficult. No, I don't know about this. And I mean, at this point, focusing on killing interceptors is maybe your best bet. Although a carrier goes down because why not? Dragoons are getting some beautiful hits off as the Goliaths are definitely trying to take down the carriers. Maybe getting some hits off on the Goliaths. Now, there we go. Removing them from the equation. But, I mean, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio of carrier to Goliath at the moment. Bonyth, his income at the 6th base is keeping him alive right now, and he handles that Goliath army. Ah, I see what happened. So he's got, so he sends this command center north, this command center north. So now technically he's got 2 bases mining here, and 1 with these guys coming in very, very shortly. So 59 to 74 supply. This is tight. Extremely tight. Carriers unsupported by anything else. It is literally just carriers here. They're going to come down and wipe out this one source of income along the right side for Hidel. But Hidel does have the other source along the left side he can fall back to. He might actually even expand to the 4th base of Bonyth, as it's generally in the same vicinity of this 5th base that he's rolling with right now, which is completely oversaturated, yes. And he's going to completely oversaturate this. Again, he's producing nothing but Goliaths. At the moment, some High Templar are out for Bonyth. He doesn't have a lot of gas for many more of those. He got exactly 40 gas, actually. Does he have even just the minimal amounts of gas income? Where the heck is... Oh, there it is. I'm stupid. So that's depleted. He's not mining from it. Not mining from it either. So he's not even getting the 2 gas per return on the completely depleted assimilators, which seems like a problem if you're trying to replace carriers or... Oh, flank attack. So missile turrets, again, getting as much damage as they can. They're never going to hit the carriers. Trying desperately to... These carriers are so almost dead. The pullback. The pullback is insane. Look how all in the red these carriers are, but they refuse to die. They refuse to go down. Making more Goliaths with the cash that he has. Hidel here. Again, the control here is disgusting. No, no. 29 HP on that carrier. Still alive. Are you kidding me? 4 HP on that carrier. The control from Bonyth today has been sick. Oh, we got a carrier with this 2 Goliath attack. More Goliaths on the way. Missile turrets doing work. Hidel taps out. with the eyebrows raised, set up, and Bonyth wins the game with only 85 total supply. His army is apparently 7 extremely injured carriers and like a couple Dragoons and some High Templar. That is it. That is all he has to his name. But look at this. 25 kills, 13 kills, 16 kills, 11 kills, 6 kills. Okay, 12 kills. Okay, so that's it. You don't necessarily have to out-expand your Terran opponent if you go carriers and can be incredibly cost-efficient against your Terran opponent like they are used to being against you. So fantastic job using high ground where he could, right? Getting to places where the Goliaths couldn't see him and couldn't hit the bodies of his carriers. Using this area as well to some extent. But there were a few times he's just in the middle of the map, man. It is literally just carriers against Goliaths, and he's just gumming in, attacking, pulling back while microing his Dragoons to try to attack as much as he can. You know, not wandering into siege tanks with the Dragoons and trying to attack Goliaths. And just overall, my goodness, disgustingly good control and play there from Bonyth. And I mean, yeah, let's epic tag that thing. That was really amazing carrier control. If you have 85 supply at the end of the game and 13 probes and kind of one mining base, yeah, that was an epic match to be sure. So thanks for sending that in, Creative. You're not wrong. Not wrong about that. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of carriers died. Not nearly as many as I think Terrans would love to see. And I can see you in the comments already, Terran fans. Why not just make a giant ball of wraiths? Well, there's a lot of reasons for it. But the main one is because wraiths are squishy. And I know if you can snipe the observers and the wraiths are invisible, easier said than done in a situation where, I mean, once there's wraiths out, a Protoss is going to make about 18 observers. 286,000 points from Bonyth, 254 for hidel. Very close. Produced and killed is super tight in this game, but Bonyth produced more and killed, let's see, produced about 60 more and lost about 30. So that's how tight this game was, man. 22 to 23 buildings raised is very close. And then hidel outspent his Protoss opponent 74 to 64,000 points. A complete role reversal from a traditional PvT, and that's because carriers are good. Can be good. Anyway, not that they win every time, but that was amazing. All right, that was a fantastic PvT, and that right there is gonna be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.